to my channel. Today's video is a little bit of a special one. My prosthetic is peeling up a little bit because we've been taking pictures and videos for a while. This is my entry for the Nyx Face Awards this year. I have some cool little forearm things. It's supposed to be like a snake queen. I love how this turned out. This was so hard to do, but I'm glad that it worked out. I'm really surprised that it worked out, actually. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I put so much thought into what I was gonna do. Props, costume, everything. I put so much thought into this where I never do. I'm always just like, paint and see how it comes out. Very spontaneous with painting. One thing in my life I'm spontaneous with. But yes, I'm so excited for this. I have the chest going on, this snake and the snake mouth, my crown, and I actually have two real snakes in my pictures that I was very scared of. I hope you guys enjoy this look, and if you would like to know how I created it, then keep on watching.
Alright, so before we start anything, we have to build the prosthetic that we're going to use. So any prosthetic that I use, I always use cotton and latex to build it. So I just kind of built up cotton and latex, really just covered it in latex until I thought it was completely smooth, and I put that in a circle around the eye so that the snake could fit actually in the eye area. And to start off, I actually put a piece of cotton down on my eye so it wouldn't be just smothering and pushing into my eye. Even though it already was, if I went back and did it again, I would have put more cotton near the eye just to make it a little more comfortable, but it was okay. So right now I'm smoothing everything down into the skin so it's pretty seamless and you can blend it. It makes it a little easier once you actually put the prosthetic on, especially since you're only going to have one eye. It makes it much easier when it's smoothed already. And now here is the finished thing after I dried it with a blow dryer. So now I'm going to start painting it. I'm just starting with a light brown to really match the snake. My whole thing was I wanted to match the snake body going down back into my skin. So that's pretty much what I was doing. And then when I put it on the face, I was going to make it bloody, a little worse and dingy and kind of all messed up. But for actually just painting the prosthetic while it was off the face, I wanted to just match its body, blending that down into my skin. And here is the finished prosthetic. Alrighty, let's get started. I started by moisturizing my face, and then I took the Bear With Me NYX Professional Makeup Spray. You can prime, set, and refresh with this, actually. I wanted my skin to be super hydrated because I'm going in with the Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation, and that has a matte finish. I went in with a shade that is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, really not by much, just a little bit, kind of just to make everything a little spookier, a little paler. And after I pretty much blended that out seamlessly, I went in with the Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer and put that under my eyes and in some of my highlight areas and over some of my pimples that I needed to cover. That was also like one shade lighter, so we were really going ghostly today. I blended all of that out with a beauty sponge, and then after that, to finish off my base, I just powdered under my eyes only because it was already a matte foundation. I didn't want it to be any more matte. After that, I took a little white paint and mapped out the area that I wanted that eye to only be beauty and not so creepy. To start the chest, I did the snake eye right in the middle of my chest. For the colors of the whole entire look, I pretty much based it around kind of a red, warm, yellow-orange snake. So the top of the eye is kind of like a flatter line, a little bit of a hump, and then the underneath of the eye has a really big kind of half circle going there. And then I filled in the white part of the eye actually red, which made it look super sick. And then they have that pointy pupil that's kind of the iconic snake eye, and you're filling in the pupil black with a little bit of highlights in it. Next, I took one of the NYX Vivid Brights cream color eyeshadow, and I did that around the pupil to kind of highlight it, to really show it off. Next, I highlighted the bottom of the eye because the top of the eye always has the shadow because the eyelid's kind of hovering over it, so the bottom of the eye has a nice highlight underneath it. And then to complete the eye, I took this dark red cream eyeshadow by NYX, and I made a kind of a shadow right next to the highlight because wherever there's a shadow, there is a highlight. And then I mixed in this purple eyeshadow from the NYX Ultimates palette. So I made these really cracky lines that pointed right down in the middle of my chest because I wanted the snake eye to be like almost sunken into my chest. And then I filled all of that in with a gray paint. Now to create that sunken in effect, I took a black cream paint and I tried to make it the darkest black that I could near the line, and then as I blended it towards the center, I tried to fade it in. Next, I wanted to shade all of the bones and muscles in my neck, and to do this, it's hard to explain, but you try to tense up your neck so you can kind of feel where the muscles are and they kind of pop out, and that's the best way to make it look the most realistic, is to go by your muscles and tendons and all that stuff in your neck. So I outlined it first with a black paint, and then I shaded it inwards with an eyeshadow and a black cream paint. And so now I'm creating some little lines that are kind of like scales. There is some bones in there, or some, I'm not very good with anatomy. There is some bones in there that do look like that, but I kind of wanted them to be more scaly. So I filled them in with white and shaded around them to make them look a little bit more realistic as I possibly could. And then around that, I took a red paint and made some smaller little scales around it. The more like asymmetrical and messy you make them, it actually kind of looks better. Taking the same cream eyeshadow from NYX, and I'm shading the top of each of the scales one by one. A little tedious, but it's okay. It makes them look very realistic. And I shaded on top, and then I took a white cream paint and I highlighted the bottom underneath, and that kind of gave them that 3D look. Now I'm filling in the center, kind of shading that in, really making that part dark. Now I'm going in to shade my collarbone area, and the same thing, try to feel out where your collarbones are, and then you can put that line right on top of it. It's much easier actually to find your collarbones than those weird tendons that you have to flex your neck to find. And then I'm shading those in inside the lines, and you can see it creates that shadow to make your whole kind of chest just look more sunken in. And now I'm taking a red paint again and making some scales on top of the eye. I filled all of the scales in red, and then I outlined them in black to really make them pop, and then just put a little line of highlight on each of them. Now making some cracks because I felt like the snake eye kind of was like broken and sunken into my skin, so I thought it fit to make some cracks coming out of it. So to start with the mouth, I sketched everything out with a white paint so it wasn't too serious. Then I went in with the black to really solidify where I wanted it. I didn't really know how big I wanted the mouth to be and stuff like that, so it was easier to start off with the white. So you can see now I'm going in and really enhancing that white, the area that I wanted it to be in, with the black paint. So it's probably going to be a little easier for you to watch what I'm doing instead of me explaining it, but I'm going to try to explain a little bit of what I'm doing. So right now, I'm drawing the snake's gums. It seems weird that they're in the corners, but they are. So this is the gums that I'm drawing in, and this right here around my mouth is the underneath of the tongue. Snakes have a lot different mouths than we have. I've learned a little bit going off of a reference picture. So now I'm shading inwards with a black cream paint to show the depth that it is going back into the back of the throat. And then this area of the nose, I'm trying to map out every area, was the back of the throat. So the teeth that I'm doing now are coming from kind of the layers of the gums. That's what the lines are kind of like the layers in like the gums of the mouth. And then I outlined the teeth in black to really make them pop. And then I made the back of the throat a little bit darker because I wanted it to give that illusion that it was going in towards the back of the throat. And now I'm just highlighting and reshading the layers to make it a little more poppy. This NYX lipstick came in super handy when I started shading around the underneath of the tongue. And then I put in some little baby teeth, 3 on each side to match up the top and the bottom. I shaded the bottom teeth a little bit different than the top. I used a black eyeshadow instead of paint so it didn't pop as much. Around the entire mouth, there would obviously be a wrinkling in the skin because the mouth is wide open in the illusion that we're creating. So I shaded around it like there was a huge wrinkle. And then in the center of the mouth, I was trying to make the illusion that it was going towards the back of the mouth. Like it was getting really dark in the back, and then there was some little tonsils kind of things. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's those little balls that are in the back of the throat. And then I just put a little highlight above each of the teeth where the teeth would be going up into the gums. So to make the teeth look a little more dingy, not so white because snakes eat rats, you're going to take a brown eyeshadow and shade the side of the tooth that is going more towards the back of the mouth and put a little highlight line on the opposite side of that tooth. Now to put some beauty, some pretty into this look, I took this red eyeshadow from the NYX Ultimates palette and I shaded this shade all into my crease. This is the only color that I actually used. I just smoked that out. Next, taking this NYX Matte Black eyeliner, well, that's kind of a tongue twister, I just made a really, really big dramatic wing on the outside of my eye. Now just coating my eyelashes with the Worth the Hype mascara by NYX and adding a false lash on top. So using the same technique that I did on my chest, I took a brown eyeshadow and shaded onto the part of my face that was the scary snake kind, and then taking the same concealer that I used earlier and highlighting right next to that line to make it super sharp. So now we're starting with the prosthetic, the last part. This took a lot more skin adhesive than I expected it to, but it's okay. We got through it. I had to hold it for a while until it would actually stick on, but then I finally gave in a little bit and had to use some cotton and latex to actually stick it onto my face. I thought I could get away with only using latex, but turns out I was wrong. So I took some cotton and some latex and blended it out all with my finger. Once you feel like you're pretty comfortable building up, it feels stable. I also used a fishing line, as you can see at this angle, and I tied it underneath my ponytail, and I know that helps a lot. So now I'm matching the other side of the mouth once it's all dry, since I covered it up. It looked a little funny without it, so I had to match it with the other side of the mouth again. Definitely wait till that's dry so you don't ruin any of your paintbrushes. And then I'm matching the bottom of the snake, the brown kind of going into my foundation. I used some brown paint mixed with a little foundation so it could make a pretty perfect match. And then once I matched everything up, I started going in with some red paint to kind of dingy this up. Obviously there's a snake coming out of my eye. There's gonna be some type of injury. So I used the dark cream red eyeshadow and a little bit of liquid blood and stippled that around everywhere. Didn't want to go overboard with it so it looked like I was covering up any edges. I like to keep it light with the blood so it keeps it classy. And once you finish all of your finishing touches, this will be the finished look.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this look, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions of things that I should do next, leave it in the comment section below. I answer back to everyone's comments, so if you'd ever just like to chit chat with me, talk with me. I'm really so excited for the Nyx Face Awards. This will be my second or third year entering it. Praying that I make it into the top 30 at least. I really hope you enjoy this look. Thank you guys for staying till the end in the outro. You guys are awesome. I put my fears aside of snakes and use them for this video, so you better appreciate it. I love you guys so much, and I will check you in the next video. Bye!